What's the best way to measure a country's greatness?
A country's greatness.
It's all about, like you said, maybe thinking a little bit deeper about something that we think we have good reasons for.
Let me ask you the question. Do you think America has a really good opportunity?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Top 3?
I don't know how to measure it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
If I knew how to measure it, then I could go and measure it and find out for sure. And I wouldn't have to rely on what I see from my own eyes.
True. If you could actually, get maybe 1,000 people from every country.
That might be one way to get a good idea.
Yeah.
Or you'd have to figure out what opportunity means.
Yeah.
And then, the more people that you poll, the more accurate the results are going to be.
Mm-hmm. And then you'd have to define opportunity as well.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the criteria for?
So is it changing to jump in and say that define opportunity?
Yeah.
Definitions are if we're using 2 different definitions, we're going to have 2 different conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
the definition of success is different.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to do an interview?
Yes, please.
Cool.
Yes, please.
Brian, that was awesome.
Yeah,
thanks so much.
I appreciate it.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, enjoy your run.
Oh, I'm done. My legs are toast now. Yeah. Okay, I'll probably see you around.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Take over for me. Do better than I did.
I came to run and work out, and I was like, wait, I can't do that. I got my backpack now. All right, for a little bit. And then, I'm not a big fan usually, but
of running?
I like it. I like the question you're asking. I think your interviewer, and I like the subject.
Cool. Have a seat.
And,
we can talk about whatever.
I've been living in the United States for a little while, so.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a little interesting.
I'm gonna reset this stuff. Cool. And are you okay if I record?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Did you get a good idea of what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
I can explain it again.
Yeah. If you want to explain it again, and then the format of the interview, if it might be better to ask, if it's good, ask a few questions about myself, so the audience might know my vision coming from somebody that is not American, is not born in America.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit different,
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. All right. Just kind of explain what I'm doing. My name's David, by the way.
David.
What's your name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Gabriel?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm interviewing members of my community about something that they think is true, something that's meaningful to them. And what I'm doing is I'm asking questions from a neutral perspective that helps us explore how you arrived at the conclusion and what supports your confidence that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have any questions about that?
No, not so much.
Okay. Do you have
I
something
think
that...
I
Sorry,
think
go ahead.
so my answer is gonna be a mix of my own experience
Mhm.
as not being legal also in the United States is different, and I think like there's a lot to it of like, man, if I was legal, actually maybe I would want to stay here, and I could maybe say that it's, you know, maybe better than Canada in some ways, but these are the two countries I can compare. The other ones would be only from the statistic that I know broadly
Okay,
from the back of my head.
got it. So are you from Canada then?
Hmm.
Okay, great.
And I've been living in Hawaii for 7 years, and I just moved here 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
that's my first experience on the mainland, and I heard a lot of the mainland from people in Hawaii, and um, I was kind of shocked because people, they kind of have that cult mentality over there that say that Hawaii is the best, and everywhere on the mainland is not beautiful, it's polluted, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of drugs everywhere. And I moved here and I was like, oh, there's a beautiful lake here. People are nice, you know, people are cordial. So yeah, about like the American people so far,
Well, I'm glad you're
it's
having
not
a
what I
good
heard, you know.
experience. I I'd be honored to welcome you. Like, welcome to welcome to the United States. Welcome to the mainland.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I hope that the experience that you have here is great.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go all around. I'm
Cool.
gonna go Oregon, then California, then Colorado, then New York.
Awesome. Okay, so you're
So
to have a trip planned, or just kind of?
broadly planned,
Okay.
yeah. Following like friends that I met from Hawaii and some other friends that are coming from Canada, and kind of just jumping from the best opportunity that presents itself.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Semi-planned.
Got it. Got it.
A broad plan.
Okay. Cool. Well, did you have a conclusion or a belief that you want to explore?
I would have had to think more about it
Okay.
to
Uh,
yeah, to go for
we
that. Maybe
can.
at the end, maybe towards the end of the interview, um, I'm gonna have a word, kind of a conclusion.
I have this can of words, and this can help generate an idea that you might
Okay.
want to talk about, something that you feel strongly
Yeah.
about. So we could do that. So basically, what you do is you pick one of these pieces of paper, and there'll be a word on there, and you can define the word, or you can just talk about it however you want, and that might help.
Okay, cool. And I wonder if your questions are gonna be similar to the last interview.
They're going to be similar in that I'm going to be wanting to explore not what you think is true necessarily, but how you know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And exploring the sufficiency of the reasons that you're using to support your belief that it is true.
Yeah, because there was a lot of time that I was very itching of answering some of these questions,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to opportunity and stuff like that.
Yeah. Usually, the more meaningful the conclusion is, the more meaningful the interview will be.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your word?
Perception.
Perception. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it because when there was the question asked of if America is the best place for opportunity, I think that it could be potentially, like, ultimately, for the right person, a young entrepreneur who has a lot of vision, a lot of drive, that might be the place where that person is going to find the most opportunity.
Mm.
But for a single mom who's struggling and has a bad hip, I don't think there's much opportunity. for her in America.
So opportunity could depend on that person's perception.
Yeah, and like um, our last friend who got interviewed, you know, very healthy. He's got a strong mind, you know. Um, Somebody with a IQ above average and that is in good physical shape. I think there's a lot of opportunity in America. Um, Whereas, you know, in some other country would be a little bit more limited,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So I
So
think like the perception changed because people mostly think about, you know, we're not necessarily selfish. I'm trying to find a better word for that, but we think about ourselves first, you know.
hmm,
So if America is the greatest country, you know, most people that say yes, it's from their own experience and not looking um, at everybody and for everybody.
okay. Hmm. We can explore your conclusion that opportunity or perception affects opportunity. Would that be something that you want to explore?
The perception, yes, and from my perception, because there's a lot of people while I was struggling for a while in Hawaii, they were asking me, why don't you go back to Canada? You know, I got free health care, and the reason why I would say in that category that United States is the best place in the world is the landmass.
Oh,
You have Hawaii, you can live in the sun all year long, whereas Germany, Norway, Sweden definitely has better social infrastructure. You know, people are getting take care a little more.
but no coconuts.
No, there's no coconut. You can just, you know, run up to a mango tree and go pick up a
Right.
mango. And the winter is tough. And like in Canada, you'll get depressed in the winter. And there's, you know, if you don't have your passport, if you stay in that country, um, you're gonna have to go through that winter.
hmm
Where in America, if you don't like it, you can. There's there's a lot of opportunity. You know, you don't like Washington, you go to the next states, and it's a little bit different. Um,
Uh-huh.
so in that matter, you know, you can't beat America for the, you know, this vast land that American have.
Okay. Maybe we can
That would be
go
in my perception. That would be why I would put it on the top one in the places.
the ability to go to an area that has better weather.
Better weather. Um, well, there's some. If we compare to other countries, that's always been. I had these conversations a lot with people sometime, um, especially with friends that start to not like America, and I try to um, make them, you know, have faith in America again, or you know, in a certain way, because there are some countries that they are so small. Um, if you want to be, let's say, like an athlete, there's some country that there's not a lot of room there. You know, there might be a sport that is not even being practiced there. In America, it's, you know, it's everywhere. It's so big. So I would only compare it to countries to at least a similar size of population.
Okay.
Like if we compare America to Brazil, Pakistan, China, India, Russia, you know, there's the countries who has the most people. I think Nigeria. Then America for is definitely the best, you know, for the population wise.
What's the best way to measure a country's greatness?
A country's greatness, um, Yeah, there'll be different kind of measurement. Like it's hard to balance.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think
What's the best
if we think
metric?
of the people that actually needs help, the one that struggles, the poor, the hungry, um, America would not be in the top. There's so many country that has free healthcare, way better social service, and even if they don't have the best weather and all the opportunity because they're not that vast of a country, um, if if the country makes bigger effort to take care of their people,
Uh-huh.
I think it's greater.
Okay. If I could maybe sum that up, and then you tell me if I'm getting your idea correctly.
Yeah.
You're you're saying that a good way to measure a country's greatness is how well it takes care of its
Always it
poor.
cares about how much it cares about its people.
Okay.
Because we're
Just people in general, or certain people, or maybe can you be more specific?
people in general, and yeah, I would say all people. But when we think about, let's say, success, if we define success by getting a lot of money, there's that opportunity. But actually, when we see the result, there's not a big percentage of people that makes that much money. Even if the opportunity is there, the opportunity, because of the capitalism, is always going to be only for some, not for everyone. So I have to discard that in a reason of why America is great, because the opportunity is never going to be for everyone. It's always going to be for a small percentage.
Okay. So a country's greatness is well measured by how it treats its people.
I think this would be the better way to to calculate it, because the country is not just the land, it's not just the people, but most countries, if we exclude the communist and dictatorship countries, we have the right to vote, and therefore we elect the people that govern us. And I think compared to Canada, where most people are progressive and they don't mind paying taxes, so everybody has healthcare, everybody is getting fed.
Do you think
Where-
Canada treats its people better than the United States?
Yes.
So would you say that by that metric, you would say that Canada is greater than the United States?
Yes. In that matter, yes.
Okay. And
Because,
that's the measure that you think is a good way to measure how great a country is.
Mm-hmm. Because on my own preferences, it'd be silly to say that America is greater because I can't escape the winter. It would be if I go by like the weather and the temperature, I don't think it's honorable way to measure the greatness of a country.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. All right. So how confident are you that Canada treats its people better than the United States does? On a scale from 0 to 100, how confident are you that that's true?
Since I picked perception again, um, I would have to think about it, because it also depends on perception. There's a big thing in America where people would say that it's better because they got more freedom, but then that's also not that that true. So I'm pretty confident to say yes. You know, it would, you know, unless you're a gun collector, you know, I think you got more freedom in Canada.
Okay. That's interesting because maybe a gun collector would say America treats its people better because they let us have more guns. That would be their perception, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be their perception.
So, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. That could be their perception, and there's a lot of false perception also with the Constitution, for example, being very good, but also very vague, very short. So it's not very descriptive. So
Mm-hmm.
the government can always play with the word there, and
It can be interpreted differently based on perception. Would you say that?
mm-hmm. But if we go with the statistic, um, less homeless people. When it comes to young children also, which they have no choice, you know, if they're born in a poor family and or you know, abuse or neglect, they have free health care. There's access, you know. Where in America there's some people that suffer because they do not have that kind of access that a lot of other countries. I keep comparing to Canada because that's the one I know the most.
Yeah.
And then perception or not, you know, it will be better. You know, it's safer. So yeah, I would be pretty confident.
Okay. What would increase your confidence?
What would increase my confidence?
Yeah, what would increase your confidence that Canada is a greater country based on how they treat their people?
Like a fact that would increase my confidence.
What would you have to learn that would cause your confidence about that to go up?
Yeah, the more statistic that I have, the better it would help me to increase my confidence. Like yeah, that's the hardest one. That's pretty much what I would need: more facts, more statistic.
More examples. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I would need more opinions.
Okay. If we took that away, would your confidence go down?
If it would be only from my personal experience and the personal experience of the people that I know around.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be able to look at the fact.
Yeah, or if you had less examples, less statistics now, because that's what would make your confidence increase, right? More data, more examples of, or more data. So would the opposite make your confidence go down?
If the data would start proving otherwise, then yeah, I think you would. I try to be very, very objective, you know. So yeah, if the data would prove otherwise, I don't think I would be holding my sword, you know. I think I would start agreeing with the data.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it sounds like data and statistics hold a lot of weight in your confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
how much does perception weigh in that?
No, that helps you, buddy. I could go get her.
What just perception weighs in that?
Like if we had let's say we had a pie,
Yeah.
and one piece of the pie was data, and the other piece of the pie was perception, your perception.
And
How big would those pieces be?
I'm kind of a truth seeker, so my own perception is very, very personal, and I wouldn't like to say that I wouldn't have my own perception get too mixed. The piece of the pie would be very small.
The perception piece?
Yeah, to be able to, you know, like when I finally conclude, you know, I've been trying to get American citizenship, and yeah, because I would like to live in America, but it's because I believe in myself and I'm capable, and there's very some personal stuff that I really like over here that I cannot do, you know, big hobbies like surfing, and I really like to work outside all year long. So on my own perception, it's like better for me, but that's only for me. I cannot count that to how great of a country is, you know. So very, very little on my perception.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
How does... Do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. How does your conclusion about Canada being greater based on this measurement, how it treats its people, how does that affect your behavior?
How does that affect my behavior? Sometimes we've been comparing Canadians and Americans, and some people say that, like, oh, Canadians are so nice, they're so nice. A lot of us are like passive aggressive, you know. We're civil.
Got it.
Um, and I found that in the behavior, not just mine sometimes, but in the behavior of others. Like if you don't have access to healthcare, less chance of getting a good social. You know, if you're especially like parents, for example, in Quebec, Canada, the mom get 2 years pay, you know, as soon as she get a baby. So it's way less stressful when you know that if you're having a baby, the government's going to take care of you for at least the first 2 years. That's like a big release. So people are less stressed a little bit, and when people are less stressed, it's a little bit less hostile. You know, I think a lot of the hostility in places come from the anxiety that people have to be very, very self-reliable, rely on themselves in the United States. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, it's very rewarding for the one that becomes successful. But it could be very stressful for others. So in behavior, in my behavior, I would be fighting more, you know, living here. Not like street fighting, but kind of be always more on the constant of trying to hustle, trying to make it, have bigger vision, and probably have a later retirement plan, you know. Yeah, it takes a lot of a little bit more effort to thrive, and it's a
Okay.
little bit more more stressful. So it would affect my behavior, and I'd probably have a stronger guard,
Okay. You would have you, you would have
I would have
you
to
would
keep
feel
my
like you would
guard
have
up a
to.
little bit more.
Sorry, say again.
I would have to keep my guard up a little bit more,
If you found out that Canada was not greater than the United States based on that measurement,
Oh,
like if you found out that that was false.
I kind of derived from the question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was kind of going in my own mind of like, oh, how would I behave if I was living, if I would live the rest of my life in America instead of if I would,
Yeah. No, it's
if in Canada.
if you found out that Canada was not greater in this way, if you found that out tomorrow, how
Oh.
would your behavior change?
Okay. I would be surprised, and yeah, my behavior. That's a hard question. Well, like my thought process would change a lot. My behavior. Yeah, I would kind of be bummed. I would be stressed. I'd be a little bit more anxious. Yeah, sorry, I got a hard time answering that one.
That's okay.
But,
Thanks for participating. Do you have
Yeah.
any questions for me?
Yeah, I'm curious about I think you're a great interviewer, and I really like the interview, and I like how you I like your format, and I'm very curious of your purpose of doing this, because you put you put a lot of effort, a lot of thought into it. So yeah, I'm curious of what's your purpose, what drives you to start doing these interviews, and I'm curious of the deep conclusion that you're trying to get, and if it's for your own, or if there's something that you're trying to prove to American, or if it's just more that you love to philosoph.
Well, thanks for your kind words. My purpose for doing this, I have a YouTube channel on which I upload conversations like this as a demonstration of how somebody people could have a conversation about something that might be a sensitive topic, but have a conversation and it be productive.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about behavior. And I think that our beliefs affect our behavior. And our behavior affects the rest of us. And so I think that if people had a good grasp on how they arrive at conclusions and how they can tell the difference between a reliable way to come to a conclusion versus an unreliable way to come to conclusions, we could make better decisions as a community that affect the decisions that affect us all.
I like it. Yeah, I think being a truth seeker, and if we really want to get to a conclusion, it's a long journey. Before we can find a conclusion on such a very looking for my word there. Yeah, broad, not a broad subject. It's actually very specific, but complex. There's a lot of complexity to that simple question that is asked sometime. Is America the greatest country? Is it one of the greatest? I think I heard you before of like, we need so many ways to measure it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, what's the criteria that
the criteria, yeah.
that we're using to say that this country is great, this country is not great? How are we measuring that?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it depends very widely on how we're measuring it, whether we say it's the greatest or not. And I really like your point of view that it's how you treat people. That's a good measurement of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably add, and I typically don't insert my opinions like this, because I'm normally asking for other opinions, but I would probably add how we treat the poorest people, like
Mm-hmm.
the measure of greatness, especially for a country, is how they treat the people that are least fortunate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
To add on to your idea.
Yeah, and there's something that just pop in mind because you say the uh, how they treat people, but um, I was kind of stuck in my mind of really how the government treats people, and then that could be very different because if you go to Guatemala, the people treats people very good. The government doesn't treat their people very good. So,
Is
or
it,
another.
at least from your understanding of America and maybe Canada, isn't the government the people? What's the difference between the people and the government in your mind?
In theory, we're supposed to, the Constitution's written, "We the people." We're supposed to be the government, if done right. Um, I think it used to be more. Um, I think the people used to influence the government more than nowadays. I think it's the lack of participation, the lack of faith that people have, that people start to lose faith that they have any power to change anything in government. That's a big factor of how we're actually losing power of government. And of course, there's the corruption. And in a capitalist country where everybody is sovereign, competing with other sovereign people, it's kind of hard to come to a consensus of how the government should be running things. So now you have mostly the people in Congress taking big decisions is the same people, and people are not really aware of what's happening there, and it's usually not middle class people. So it could be so easily corrupt, the decision they make from are they really doing it for the people? But if the people don't have no way to express themselves or are not expressing it, then the people don't really have control over the government anymore.
So it could be that the perception is that the government is the people, but that may not be what's happening in reality.
Yeah. In a theory, that's how it should be. But the only way that it would actually be in theory is if 100% of the people, or almost 100% of the people, is involved.
So participation is a big factor in whether the government is the people.
Yeah, I think participation Some people
Okay.
won't even have a conversation about politics. But it's
Right.
the politics is us. Is if you avoid that, then it's like if you start playing a game and you don't even want to hear the rules, then somebody's gonna make the rules and you might not like it. But
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Gabriel.
yeah,
It was great
no
meeting
problem.
you and talking to you.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I like, I love these subjects because I don't think we don't talk about it enough, or on social media. Sometime I see a post that starts to, to talk about these subjects, and I try to get in, and it gets very aggressive right away.
Yeah.
It seems like there's kind of a big solar opposite, there's a left and the right, and both have their like bad and good, and if somebody disagree a little bit one of another, they push it to both extreme, and then never really converse of what their beliefs are actually are. I find it's a big problem, so I'm always happy to converse about it.
I seem to have better results in those kinds of conversations when I focus just on asking questions with an open mind, with the idea that I could be wrong, and ask questions and not focus so much on the what, but on the how they know that it's the case.
Yeah, that's a great way. That's kind of what I liked about your format, kind of asking personal question. I think it's a great way that people have interest, 'cause people want to share their thought. They don't want to argue that much about the fact, they want to give their own thought about the subject.
Yeah,
so that's a good approach.
It's really coming down.
Do you have a phone?
Yes.
Phone? This will take you to my YouTube channel.
It's really coming.
Okay. Yeah, I just gotta scan it.
Yeah, or
Cool.
take a picture of it.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And I might jump in the comments, participate.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I've got about 50 or so conversations already on there, and I have quite a bit more to put up. So one in real life one like this goes up every Thursday, so once a week, and then I have audio only ones go up on Monday.
And you come here in this park usually to do
I'm here
your
a lot.
interviews?
I go up to the Capitol sometimes, Percival Landing, which is over there by the boats. Have you heard of the Chehalis Western Trail? That long bike trail?
No.
It's pretty popular in some of the parks and stuff around here. So
yeah, I just got here 12 days ago, and yeah, I'm really having a blast.
Cool.
I stayed in Hawaii for 7 years straight on that small island. 7 years on
Which
one
island?
island, Maui.
Maui. Okay, that's the only island I've been to,
Yeah,
and it was pretty awesome.
yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah.
But even some of the best place, another, we can go on about. I had a lot of debate about that, if Maui was the greatest place.
Yeah. Maybe we could talk about that next time.
yeah. You can
So
go forever.
that's for you to scan if you want to scan it. I don't give them out. In other words, like it's just for you to
okay,
scan.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
I didn't explain that well enough.
I was also thinking like, oh, why doesn't he just give me his YouTube channel instead of watching that?
It's just an easy way for people to find
Yeah.
it. And I'll take that word back.
I don't know how to. Can I just go on YouTube and research it?
You can do it like you're just taking a picture, and then you'll have a little button, like if you turn on your camera.
And are you born and raised here in Olympia?
I've lived here for about 22 years, but I was born in Texas, and I lived in Mexico, and I lived in some of the southern states. But yeah, I've been here for longer than anywhere else, so this is home for me. And yeah, I wish you well on your travels, and
yeah, thank you.
I hope the rest of the time that you're here in Olympia is good. You have not experienced the winter here yet.
No, that might differ. It hasn't rained since I got here.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that helped enjoy the place, right? I came at a good time.
Yeah, it's nice here in the summer, that's for sure.
And I came from a very hot place, so people that say like, "Oh, it's hot today," I'm like, "Oh, that's all right."
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
80s for me. I love 80s.
Yeah.
But that can be a little bit too warm for some people that are from here.
Mm-hmm.
And then 90s is just like it's like an event.
Yeah. I see people on the job site today. They're like, "We're taking a break. It's hot."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh."
Did you get that okay?
No. So I just I take a picture of it.
Well, if you hold it up like to where the whole thing is in there, it should have
And I just go with.
There's a little.
I just have my camera on.
Okay.
So I got my camera on.
So there's nothing coming up for you to.
You know, I have the cheapest of the smartphones too.
I wonder if it's that. No. Sorry.
So.
Okay. So yeah, just go to YouTube.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to find it directly on YouTube.
Yeah. And then, what my shirt says.
It's
Sound Epistemology.
Sound Epistemology. Cool. But yeah, I like it so far. It's.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's an
Cool.
interesting place, Olympia. I'm kind of glad that I landed in the capital. Capitals are always interesting.
Yeah, it's diverse.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more diverse.
I can take that from you.
Yeah.
Cool. That was great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You're a very pleasant person to be around.
Cool, thank you. You as well. Yeah, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, if you see me again, if you want to have another chat, just feel free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will. Right on.
Cool.
I'm gonna go do my exercise.
Sounds good. See you around.
All right, see ya.